Tonight at 5, an update on a crash that killed a local high school student earlier this month, what police have told us so far.
Plus, it's been a very nice day, but the nice weather will not last forever. I'll have more on that coming up.
And you might not know it, but tomorrow is Election Day in Wisconsin. What's on your ballot and how many people are expected to vote? You're watching News 3 Now at 5. And good evening. Thanks for staying with us. Susan Simon is off this week. We begin with new information about a crash earlier this month that killed a Madison West High School senior while he was on his way to school. News 3 Now's Maya Tate has the update. Maya?
Eric, at 8:30 this morning, a 51-year-old woman was booked into the Dane County Jail in connection to this case. She is facing a charge of homicide by negligent operation of a vehicle. Earlier this month, 17-year-old Sasha Rosen was killed in a crash on Park Street while using the crosswalk on his way to school. Investigators say the crosswalk light had been on as Rosen crossed the street. They also say that speed was a significant factor in the crash, but there is no evidence of cell phone usage and impairment at this time. Results from a legal blood draw are still being processed. Support for Rosen's family has been outpouring since the crash, and family members have created the website Safe Streets for Sasha, which they say will help spread awareness about the dangers of traffic violence.
Maya, thank you. And now to a developing story in Madison. The Warner Dog Park is closed after a dog got sick and died after visiting over the weekend. Madison Park say it received multiple phone calls and emails from concerned residents about this incident. Madison Park says it is working with other local agencies and meeting internally to determine the next steps. Now, News 3 Now is following this story closely, and next hour on News 3 Now at 6, Tanasia Shaw will bring us the most up-to-date information. It has been a record breaker today. Meteorologist Jacob Matasano here with a look at our forecasts.
Yeah, temperatures still in the 60s at this time, 59 specifically in Madison, but a lot of Dane County seeing temperatures in the middle to lower 60s, and across the area, even the colder areas are well into the 50s. It's been a just about perfect afternoon for everyone across southern Wisconsin. And as we take a look at the high temperatures from today, obviously that 86 in Watertown is not accurate, but everything else is. 64 was the high in Madison, many 60s out there. And it was the first time we got to the 60s for Madison since the middle of November. And this is actually the third day over the last 4 days where Madison reached, and in some cases, broke the record high. So it really goes to show you how unseasonably mild the temperatures have been. The Friday's high was 51, broke the record of 50. Saturday, the high of 55 matched that day's record. Today's high of 64 easily broke the record of 57. And yesterday was warm as well, just not quite to the record of 63 that was for yesterday. Now, as we look at the overnight forecast, staying mild, lows in the middle to upper 30s. These lows are going to be warmer than the average high for this time of year. But we also are going to be seeing some patchy fog, especially as we get closer to sunrise tomorrow. Looking at the visibility forecast, visibility could drop down to around a quarter of a mile, if not less for some areas. So definitely just take it easy on your way to work. And we may continue to see some patchy fog throughout the day, especially for areas north and east of Madison. And that's also when we're going to see the rain begin moving in later in the day tomorrow. So I'll talk more in detail about that coming up a bit later.
All right, Jacob, thank you. The trial of a man charged with killing a woman from Sun Prairie last year will not happen this week. Gerson Blaznowy is charged with 1 count of first-degree intentional homicide, 1 count of giving false information about a missing person to police, and 1 count of hiding a corpse. Prosecutors allege Blaznowy killed 27-year-old Isamar Valverde Ponce in January of last year. Now, his trial was scheduled to get underway today, but instead, the court has pushed back the trial. They'll have a meeting to reschedule later in the week. The Sun Prairie Police Department is investigating allegations from Middleton's mayor that a former city planner sexually assaulted her. Mayor Emily Kuhn of Middleton petitioned for a restraining order against former city planner and current Alder candidate Mark Opitz. She says Opitz tried to unzip her pants and grope her following her State of the City speech last March at the Village Green Bar. Now, Middleton police requested Sun Prairie now lead the investigation. That's to ensure independence and impartiality. In her petition, Mayor Kuhn reported Opitz became a substitute teacher at her child's school after he had resigned from office. His resignation came days after the city had launched an investigation into his conduct. Online court records show Kuhn was granted a temporary restraining order. A hearing on the case is scheduled for the end of the month. Opitz denied the allegations in a statement to Channel3000.com. A UW-Madison student is in jail accused of capturing nude images of classmates without their consent. It was Sunday when UW-PD responded to a residence hall after a report of someone recording videos of others in a bathroom. Several people shared the same story. They were using the bathroom when someone in the next stall over dropped a cell phone on the floor beneath the divider. The camera lens would be facing upward each time. The person picked up the phone after a few seconds. Police arrested a 19-year-old. He's facing 3 counts of disorderly conduct and 3 of capturing an image depicting nudity without consent. Well, this time of the year, many get out on our area lakes for some winter fun, but recently a gathering on Lake Mendota left the lake covered in trash. News 3 Now's Jalen Banks joins us with how it happened and how this level of littering can impact our lakes. Jalen?
Eric, what was initially intended to be a good cause ended up turning one of Madison's lakes just into a mess. I had the chance to catch up with a water biologist on how a party's worth of trash on Lake Mendota can impact our environment. Every winter, a UW-Madison fraternity puts on a hockey tournament on Lake Mendota right off the Memorial Union Terrace to raise money for epilepsy. This year, the event was canceled due to the fraternity and university not reaching an agreement on how to host the event. Without the fraternity or university's involvement, a party still took place on the lake Saturday, leaving the lake completely covered in garbage. On your screen, you can see a time-lapse video of the people accumulating onto the lake. I have the chance to speak to a water biologist on the implications events like this can have on one of our lakes.
So you can think of like a glass bottle just like sinking to the bottom and staying there, but that label might dissolve. All those like synthetic dyes that are in the lettering, might get into the water.
And Dugan says littering to this extent can have major impacts beyond just people and our consumption.
Those might actually be like consumed by different animals in the lake, which will, cause like a whole variety of physiological problems. There's been lots of research in sort of just like aquatic ecology, looking at how different pollutants both like persist in the environment and how they cycle through like animals and through food webs.
Now, News 3 Now reached out to the university for comment about the handling of this event, but we haven't heard back yet. Eric?
Jalen, thank you. Several Madison police officers are hurt after making an arrest over the weekend. Now, it happened on West Johnson Street Sunday evening. Police received reports of someone throwing items off a balcony, hitting a bus and people walking below. And while arresting the 23-year-old suspect, 3 officers also received injuries that required them to go to the hospital. Madison PD has not disclosed the extent of those officers' injuries. Now to a recall alert. The FDA updating an existing peanut butter recall. More than 22,000 affected single-serve products were distributed to 40 states. That does include Wisconsin. They include both peanut butter packets and small cups containing both peanut butter and jelly. Ventura Foods produced these products. The FDA says pieces of blue plastic were found in a filter at the facility where those products are made. For 25 years, the Richard Dilley Tax Center has provided people in Dane County with free tax preparation assistance. The center's volunteer income tax assistance program primarily serves those with disabilities. A certified volunteer tax preparer helps residents prepare their returns right in front of them. And during the 2025 tax year, more than 3,100 returns were prepared free of charge, and that resulted in more than $4.8 million in refunds to taxpayers. Dozens of volunteers are there to help. News 3 Now spoke with one who talked about why people should seek their help.
You know that you're getting them done right, and you are getting the correct refund, and you're getting that maximum refund.
Well, the center is open Monday and Saturday from 9 to 3, also open on Friday from 1 to 5. Tomorrow, voters will narrow down who they want to see head of the general election in nonpartisan races. Our political reporter, Elia Liberté, joins us now with a breakdown of the spring primary tomorrow. Ellie.
Eric, well, there's no statewide race on the ballot, meaning that going to the polls could look different for everyone. But if tomorrow's election comes as a surprise, you're not alone.
A lot of people don't even realize there's an election going on.
John Adams is one of those people. Did you guys know that there's an election tomorrow?
I did not.
And he's in the majority. According to the Madison City Clerk, the estimated turnout for Tuesday's primary election is around 8 to 10%.
And if you don't understand the impact, then you're less likely to vote. So the 8% makes sense to me.
But why is turnout for elections like this so low?
Without races where we're learning about them through advertising or races that are going to be close, it's hard to get people motivated to show up in this particular kind of election.
So it's just not something you've heard a lot about?
No, I think especially, and I'm gonna speak for my portion of my community that I'm engaged with, I think there's not enough outreach to engage people in local voting and local politics to really explain to them how it truly impacts them.
But primary elections can send a message to lawmakers
about what people want and about how their demands deserve attention from those at the highest levels of government.
But for that to be effective, people like Adams say community outreach is needed.
The more we can invest in local politics, the more change we can create.
So what could be on your ballot tomorrow? Well, in Dane County, there are 3 board supervisor races. That's for the seats for District 12, District 15, and District 28. There is also a race for the circuit court. Polls are open tomorrow from 7 a.m. to 8 p.m. To find out what's on your ballot and to check your voter registration status, you can find those resources on our website at channel3000.com. Just look for this story.
Ellie, thank you. And News 3 Now will be providing election updates tomorrow as soon as we have them. To receive notifications of the results directly to your phone, you can always download the free Channel 3000 mobile app. Still ahead at 5, the Overture Center reaches a major milestone. How help from nearly 2,000 households will keep the Center for the Arts around. Plus, warm temperatures today across southern Wisconsin, but that will not be the case for long. When we return, Jacob Montesano tells us when we could see snow back in the forecast. And the markets, they were closed today for President's Day. Stay with us. News 3 Now at 5. We'll be right back.
You're watching News 3 Now at 5. Moving forward.
And more local news. Online enrollment for the Madison School District's 4K and 5K programs is now open. Parents with students who will be 4 years old on or before September 1st can now enroll. And that's true for families living within and outside the district's attendance boundaries. Families living outside the boundaries will also need to apply for open enrollment. Children already enrolled in the district's 4K program will automatically move up to 5K. Families who need help can make appointments using the district's Find Your School tool. A link to that is at this story linked at channel3000.com. Green Lake County Sheriff Mark Podol will retire at the beginning of next year. Podol says he won't seek re-election after serving as the county sheriff for the last 20 years. His law enforcement career has spanned the course of 44 years total. In a statement, Podol said he will continue to serve the community faithfully until his last day to build a strong foundation for the next generation of law enforcement in Green Lake County. Today, the River Food Pantry hosted an event to pack its shelves. Pack the Pantry used the pantry's drive-through so donors could drop off non-perishable foods, spices, toilet paper, even money. Greg Tardif, a local community member, saw a post about Pack the Pantry while he was at the grocery store and decided to grab a few extra items.
We've all had easy times and hard times, and so sometimes people need a little extra, so it's good to help.
The River got $3,500 in donations today on top of the food that people brought in, and donations made until midnight will be matched up to $10,000. The Overture Center's Overture Forever fundraising campaign has reached its $30 million goal. Overture launched the campaign to create a permanent endowment for the center that would pay for needed maintenance and improvements in the building. The effort began about 10 years ago. A massive donation of $10 million from the Jerome Frautschi Foundation in 2024 brought it closer to becoming reality, and since then, nearly 2,000 households donated. The average gift about $100. I hope you're able to get out and enjoy the record-breaking warmth to start the week. Jacob's back with our complete forecast.
Thanks, Eric. As we take a look at the 3 things you need to know, we're going to see the rain return Tuesday night, and then we'll have a second system later in the week that could bring some snowfall for Friday and Saturday, which obviously means we will see cooler temperatures by the end of the week. So let's take a look at those precipitation chances throughout the week. For tonight, we'll see an increase in clouds, small chance of a light sprinkle, otherwise pretty dry. And into Tuesday morning, although we'll see more cloudy skies and maybe some fog, we're not expected to see that rain until much later in the day, but later in the afternoon and in the evening we'll see some showers, maybe even a few isolated thunderstorms, and this is expected to continue for most of Tuesday night, and it is going to clear out mostly for Wednesday morning. And Wednesday actually does look like a pretty good day as temperatures will still be mild, although it will be a bit windy. Then we get to Thursday, starting out dry, but similar to Tuesday, we'll see some showers, maybe a few isolated thunderstorms for the afternoon, evening for Thursday. But the difference with the second system versus versus the first system is the second system will cool the temperatures down, and so the back end of this system could be bringing in some snowfall as those temperatures cool down, and some light lingering snow is expected potentially for the start of next weekend into Saturday. So to kind of recap all of this, we'll see rain and a few thunderstorms, especially Tuesday evening and Tuesday night, with some lingering rain Wednesday morning. Not going to see a big temperature change from this one. The second system will bring that big temperature change, as we'll start out as rain Thursday evening and then potentially a wet snow, a little bit of a rain mix Friday with some light snow possible on Saturday. Now, we also will see some gusty winds at times this week. Now, they'll be relatively calm tomorrow, picking up by tomorrow afternoon and evening, with gusts up around 35 miles per hour. But the strongest winds will be for Wednesday afternoon, as most of the area could see those wind gusts up near 30 to 35, maybe even gustier than that. Now, they'll calm down a little bit for Wednesday night, Thursday, but then they'll pick back up towards the end of the week, where we do see those temperatures fall. Now, here's a look at the temperature forecast. Still going to be pretty mild the next couple of days, and as I mentioned, Wednesday does look to be pretty good, considering most of that precipitation will be gone very early Wednesday, and we'll see plenty of sunshine, although as I previously showed, it will be windy. And then we'll still be mild for Thursday. Then we see those temperatures fall. By the time we get to the weekend, we're going to have highs in the 30s. But these highs in the 30s are much closer to average for this time of year than what we're seeing right now. And these temperatures aren't bitterly cold by any means. So although we're not going to be as nice as we were today, we're not necessarily going to be dangerously or bitterly cold once we do see those temperatures fall. So we'll see that rain move in tomorrow evening, lasting through very early Wednesday. Then we'll have a break Wednesday afternoon through early Thursday before that second system moves in Thursday evening, starting out as rain, then transitioning to a rain-snow mix and potentially all snowfall. And as far as accumulation goes, still uncertain, but definitely a few inches are possible. But we'll have a clear picture of the accumulation forecast once we get a little bit closer to that system.
All right, Jacob, thank you. Once again, a reminder, nominations are open for Madison Magazine's Best of Madison. Log on to channel3000.com. Click on the link to nominate your favorites. You have until the end of the month to do so. We're also celebrating the city's best businesses and leaders. Join us for the Best of Business program. That'll be February 27th at the Concourse Hotel. You can learn more and get tickets through our website, channel3000.com. And some big news for state fair lovers. The Beach Boys will headline the final day of the annual event. The show will be August 16th at 6 p.m. It'll be part of the band's latest tour, The Sounds of Summer. Tickets for the show go on sale Friday on the State Fair website. Next at 5, after Congress failed to approve funding for the Department of Homeland Security, which agencies are being affected by the partial government shutdown and where things stand between Democrats and the White House. And the signs doctors say you should know as rates of death from colorectal cancer continue to climb in our younger Americans. News 3 Now at 5. We'll be right back.
You're watching News 3 Now at 5. Moving forward.
In national news, 3 people are dead, including a young girl, after a shooting at a hockey arena in Rhode Island. Several others are in the hospital in critical condition. Now, police say the incident appears to be domestic in nature, with the shooter targeting family members. The shooter died by suicide after firing shots. All family members in the Nancy Guthrie disappearance case have now been cleared as suspects. This as the search for Guthrie stretches into a third week. Currently, agents are running DNA tests on a glove found near Guthrie's Tucson home that resembles one worn by the person seen on that doorbell camera footage the morning that she went missing. Now, amid the investigation, Today Show co-host Savannah Guthrie made another appeal to the public, saying her family still has hope for her mother's return.
It's never too late to do the right thing. And we believe in the essential goodness of every human being. And it's never too late.
And while no arrests have been made, federal and local law enforcement conducted searches of a home less than 2 miles from Guthrie's and a Range Rover outside a local restaurant. Right now, the federal government is partially shut down. Funding for the Department of Homeland Security ran out over the weekend after Democrats refused to fund it amid a deadly immigration crackdown. Torian Small reports on the state of negotiations from Capitol Hill.
The president and Congress are out of town on President's Day while the government is partially shut down.
I know what they want. I know what they can live with.
We're willing to have a good faith conversation about everything, but fundamentally we need change that is dramatic, that is bold, that is meaningful, and that is transformational.
Democrats want immigration officers to unmask, wear body cameras, and get warrants to enter private property.
I think some of the asks are just, I think they're unreasonable.
While ICE and Border Patrol are part of the Department of Homeland Security, those agencies are not impacted by the lack of DHS funding, while the rest of the department is either shut down or working without pay.
The federal law enforcement issue involving immigration and customs enforcement, they're already funded based on the bill that was signed into law last July through 2029. All the Democrats are doing right now is trying to shut down TSA, the Coast Guard, FEMA.
Minnesota Congressman Tom Emmer, a member of the GOP leadership team in the House, tells CBS Mornings they're not even a part of the negotiations to end the stalemate.
The president is the chief negotiator and is working directly with Senate Democrats.
President Trump spent the weekend at his Mar-a-Lago resort in Florida, while the Senate is not expected back until next week. Torian Small, CBS News, Capitol Hill.
Colorectal cancer is now the deadliest cancer for U.S. adults under the age of 50. And while deaths for other cancers are declining in younger adults, the opposite is true for colorectal cancer. Health experts say there are 5 main warning signs of the disease that you should know about: persistent abdominal pain, rectal bleeding, persistent diarrhea and constipation, unexplained weight loss, and iron deficiency anemia that leads to fatigue and weakness.
Young people should not ignore any symptom that they find unusual, and that if they see their physician and they're told they're too young to have a problem, they probably need to see somebody else.
About half of colorectal deaths in young adults are in those between the ages of 45 and 49. Screening is lowest in that age group. It's still unclear what's causing a rise in colorectal deaths in those under 50, but they know smoking, heavy drinking, and lack of exercise can contribute. Stay with us. We're back with a final check of your First Warn forecast when we return. Coming up tonight at 6, a local park is closed today after a dog that visited that park got sick and died. News 3 Now's Tanasia Shaw tells us the steps the city is taking to keep pets safe there. That's in the next half hour on News 3 Now at 6. And we are learning just into the newsroom, 2 people were hurt after a crash with a school bus earlier. Oregon police say the crash happened just before 3 this afternoon at the intersection of East Netherwood Road and North Perry Parkway. They say an SUV failed to stop at a stop sign and hit the bus, which was carrying 3 children. Police say the SUV driver and their passenger were hurt and that the driver will be cited. Jacob is back as we take one final check of the forecast. Beautiful start to the week.
Yeah, but it's going to be a pretty active one as we'll see 2 systems move through our area. The first one Tuesday night into early Wednesday, mostly, in fact, pretty much only bringing rain. Not going to impact the temperatures too much, but that second system that will start out as rain and then potentially end as snow, that could cool those temperatures down with highs in the 30s for next weekend.
All right, Jacob, thank you. Thanks for joining us for News 3 Now at 5. We're back in 30 minutes for News 3 Now at 6. And of course, you can always find us streaming 24/7 on Channel 3000 Plus. See you in a half hour.